Come on now. Hello, 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 fabulous people. This is Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, known as the Queen of Feeling Fabulous. And we are welcome to the Bold Unstoppable show. It's where women come together and we are like no holds bar, so to speak. I'm that real chick that like I roll with the guys, I roll with the girls, but I feel it's important for us to talk about how women are breaking barriers, women who lead, and we are really commanding our thrones, being unapologetic for the badass queens that we are. And so, ladies, and the very few smart gentlemen that are joining us today, I want to ask you all this. It is May. We're 5 months into 2025, and we are just really embracing some amazing things that not only are happening in our lives, but are happening around the world when it comes to women. And so, as I step into this phenomenal opportunity to be with these four very phenomenal panelists that said yes to this show, we're talking about the power of connection and women supporting women. And I want to say that when I started my business way back in 1990, okay, yeah, 35 years ago, um, and I still think I'm 30. Um, it was a really different arena back in 1990. And as we come forward into today, 2025, women are being unapologetic with standing into their greatness. And one of the things that I tell ladies that it was the power of community connection and collaboration that allowed me to take my business as a telecommunications installation company, the first woman-owned, minority-owned telecommunications installation company in the United States, from being a no-name company to being one of the top 50 women-owned businesses in Silicon Valley. And it was really about me connecting and understanding the power of connection with women, supporting women. And so that's our topic today, women supporting women, and how you can tap into that collective energy of us badass women. And yes, I cuss, and I'm unapologetic for it, because sometimes you need those words that you can't say nicely to get the message across. And so I have four phenomenal panelists with me today, and we're going to really open up dialogue for all of you to not only understand the power of connection, but the power of connecting, collaborating, and being in a community that not only supports you, but supports you and uplifts you to be the greatest queen that you can when it comes to commanding your business and your life. So I have Loretta with me, I have Sher with me, I have Natalie with me, and I have Angela. And so I'm going to allow these ladies to introduce themselves and share a little bit about them in the quick time. And then we're going to jump into some very serious dialogue that I hope uplifts, empowers you as a lady and a king, supporting his queen to be the greatest queen that we ever have, and that's possible for us. So, Loretta, tell the audience that's watching us a little bit about you.
Sure. So I wrote a book called Habits of a Happy Brain, Retrain Your Brain to Boost Your Serotonin, Dopamine, Oxytocin, and Endorphin Levels. So what I say in the book is not at all what you hear from academic psychology in the medical world, because I study what triggers our happy chemicals in animals and how that helps us understand what turns them on in daily life, and also why we're not meant to have happy chemicals on all the time. Animals only have them in little bits, and so do we.
Lovely. Well, welcome to the show, Loretta. It's fabulous to have you, and thank you for saying yes. Now, Sher, tell us a
Hi
little bit.
guys. Yeah, hi, my name is Shermin Kruse. You can call me Sher. It's a beloved nickname, so it's more than welcome. I am, first of all, I'm so excited to hear about everyone else on this call. And so far, I loved hearing from Loretta and, of course, Dr. Lawson. My name is Shermin. My new book, Stoic Empathy, just came out. And not unlike Loretta's book, there is a neuropsychology section in the book, but I'm not a neuropsychology expert in the way that she is. I'm more, hey, let's look at ancient Stoic philosophy, modern empathic notions, and figure out how to find power in a way that comports with neurology as well as ancient wisdom and can help maintain our integrity. One more thing about me before we go to the next person. I'm still under 30 seconds. I have 4 kids and they are amazing and so cool and so much work and so exhausting. And I took a 20-minute nap right before this stream. And so I'm feeling super energetic right now. So just watch out, everybody, because I'm coming.
I love it. Thank you, Cher. And so we're going to go to Natalie. Natalie, tell the audience a little bit about you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Natalie Solomon. I am a friend and sister of Dr. Lawson in our Black Door Society organization. And I am a public health practitioner as well as a small business owner. I help women secure their oxygen mask first that are going through fatigue, self-care focus, as well as really focusing on how do they take their surroundings and create sacred spaces for themselves to renew and refresh and stand back up into the world that they need to kind of go into every now and again. So that's a really quick snippet.
Well, thank you, Natalie. And just to share a little bit about Natalie, she was a gal that came to one of my events in the DMV, Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia area way back, I don't know, in 2022, 21, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
And just was a beautiful soul. And long story short, we ended up being connected through Black Door Society. And so it's a pleasure for me to have her here because she was alone on her journey. And my belief is when you connect, collaborate, and you're in a community where you can establish deep relationships, everything in your life and your business amplifies to your greatest possibilities and your dreams. So welcome my girl, my sister Natalie, and we're going to go to Miss Angela R. Lewis.
Hi everyone, good evening. I am Angela R. Lewis. I'm a former professional basketball player, NCAA Division I coach and author. And my passion is helping people go from valley to victory using the 6V framework.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. I just want to say, Angela, girl, wow. I am a huge basketball fan, and my baby is Stephen Curry. I had Golden State Warriors tickets from 2000. No, let me go back to 1984 to 2019. And so I used to say, um, Stephen Curry is my baby. And then one time I was saying that, and this lady was like, "Oh, so did you have a relationship with his dad, Daryl?" And I'm like, "Oh, I can't say that."
I can't
Oh, but I feel like he's like a kid from another mother. I love his family. I love Dale. I love his mom. I love his wife and his kids. And I absolutely love him. I had the pleasure of meeting him. And really, he is genuine. What you see when he does his interviews on TV is what I saw back in his rookie year. And I just knew he was going to be stellar. And it's funny because he looks like my kid. So I'm just gonna say he's my adopted kid. I'm not taking any credit from his parents, but he is just a beautiful soul, and he is in my Golden State, California, where I'm from, San Francisco Bay Area. And if you're not from that area, we rock it, command it, and so that is why this chick is the bold, unstoppable chick that I am. But let's jump into the topic of conversation. So, ladies, when it comes to supporting each other in being in a community in collaboration, my first question is, and I always like to mix it up a little bit. But my first question is, when you were stepping out into your greatness and when you realized what your being on your dime was, as one of my mentors, Lisa Sasevich, said back basically long time ago, being on your dime, when you realize what being on your dime is, how did you ebb and flow to get into the communities that were going to not only support you, but help uplift you to where you want it to be and command your throne, being unapologetically for that? And so, Loretta, we're going to start with you. How did you do that? And when did you realize that you didn't need to be apologetic for being that bold, unstoppable chick?
Let's see. That's I have to admit, I started by apologizing a lot and it didn't work. So I guess I would say that's how I realized that it doesn't work. And then I realized that other people don't really know better. Like if I'm really always looking for, oh, if I just cooperate with this person and they can lead the way, but then I'm like, they don't know better. So I would love to say that I found a perfect way, but what I learned most from is, I think, reading biographies, because I saw like that people that we see in the public realm that you think they must have had some perfect life if they did some accomplishment, but they didn't. Their lives were harsh and horrible and messed up, just like everyday life. So that, I guess, then I didn't have to apologize for my own ups and downs.
Thank you, Loretta. I appreciate that. Now, Sher, tell me,
Yes.
when it came to connecting in a community that you wanted, that you were hoping that would support you and help you to elevate your business and what you're doing in your business and life, what was it that you found, or what was it that you that led you to being a believer in the power of connection?
Oh, well, that one's an easy one. I grew up in Iran I was born in 1977. The Iranian Revolution happened in 79, and the Iran-Iraq War was started in 1980. By the time I left in 88, at the age of 11, there was up to 6 missile attacks a day into Tehran, the city where I was. And we were also under the constant threat of a very, very patriarchal and oppressive government. And so family connection, that's what you had. That was what kept you human and what kept you real. It's also what distinguished the real you, the you were behind closed doors, from the fake you, the you had to be on the streets so you don't get arrested or so your mom doesn't get arrested. And it was a weird, confusing time as a child. But one thing I learned, and I learned well, you find your people and you trust them, and you be careful who you trust. You do need to be careful, because if you put yourself out there for the wrong person, they will sell you out to the Islamic Republic of Iran. But if you've got the right people around you, they will catch you when you fall and protect you when you've got something to hide. And honestly, it's been one of the greatest lessons of my life. Now that I'm here on this part of the world, I feel like there's a lot more luxury and freedom in order to connect, because worst thing that could happen is still not nearly as bad as what could have happened back then. Worst thing that happens is, I tell people I play basketball and they decide I'm going to be their baby in all their future conversations about me or something like that. Although I'm nowhere near the talent of Ms. Lewis or Seth Curry. But this is it. The reality is the stakes are lower here, but the reality is the same. You got to be careful when you put yourself out there, who you put yourself out there for, what occasions, under what set of circumstances. But if you don't put yourself out there and form those genuine connections, there is no humanity left inside of you. And so I grew up with that notion.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you. Some of my closest comadres, I want to say, that's Spanish. I don't know how to say it in Iranian, but people, when I first became a nurse, there were some very beautiful ladies that supported me that were Iranian. And here's the beautiful thing. They used to cook for me. So I oh girl. And they were older than were old enough to be my mama. And I was, I grew up in San Jose. I'm a Silicon Valley girl. So when I first started my nursing career, it was in San Jose. And ladies took me in, and it was so funny. They would cook for me. And once they realized that I absolutely loved the food, the rice, the kebabs, everything that they brought to me, it was like,
the stews, right?
Oh, girl.
That's all we want. We just want someone to feed. You come into my kitchen, you leave happier and 5 pounds heavier. That's just the way it goes.
It reminded me of my Sicilian roots on my dad's side. And so, first of all, I want to say shout out to all the Iranian women, because I remember being maybe a freshman in high school when that Iranian war broke out, and didn't know a whole lot about it. But my heart always went out to the women and the young girls, because life in Iran was so different than for us young girls in America. So girl, kudos to you, and thank you for being here. Thank you for all that you do and that you've come through, because I know it's been a lot. Natalie, girl. Okay, same thing, same question for you. What would you say?
To be unapologetic. So as you know, Rochel Marie, I've been through a lot of health challenges. I am a brain tumor survivor, endometriosis, stage 4, multiple surgeries, multiple bouts with sepsis, almost died a couple times. And after having my time sitting in hospital rooms, multiple times, people can't visit you, and during COVID, and you don't know if you're going to make it, and the doctor's looking at you and your chart like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work. You kind of have that time to sit and think and look at the wall and rethink your whole life about how you're going to step out once you leave that hospital bed after the 60 millionth time, I guess, you've been in it. And how are you going to approach life? How are you going to show up? How are you going to make sure that, as far as my mantra is, securing your oxygen mask first, to show up and be present? How are you going to make sure that you're breathing, you're balancing, and you're blooming in the state that you're in, knowing the challenges that you may still be dealing with, forging ahead? And I would say it's been a process, it's been a journey, but with each I guess surgery or healthcare challenge, you kind of get a little bit more oomph to it, and you're like, well, I got through this, so I'm just going to keep on trucking along and show up and show out, because I'm still here.
I love it. I love it.
I'm still here.
I love it. And so, to give a little backstory about Natalie, I had an event in Washington, D.C. I want to say it was actually in Virginia, and it was my first event when I stepped out to be that bold, brave, and unstoppable badass chick that I am. And I don't know if you all know a lot about me, but I'm, if you tell me I can't do something, I'm like that chick, like, yeah, watch, bitches. Okay, I'm just keeping it real. And so Natalie,
I'm really surprised. Yeah, to hear that.
Natalie was at my event, and she came and we communicated. And long story short, it's amazing how the divine puts you in rooms with other people that are like-minded like you, that you would have never been able to communicate or connect with if you would have stayed in your box. If I would have stayed in my box in my beautiful state of California, in that Silicon Valley, there's so many women that I wouldn't have connected with. But Natalie, we connected, and lo and behold, we are in this organization called Black Door Society, and we're elevating women, because I think in this day and age, women are the power, and we're the keys to making the world a better place. And I so wholeheartedly believe that. And I'll share a little bit more about my story as we continue this conversation about the power of connection with women and women supporting women. And I just wanted to drop that little dime in, because I think it's important for not only you all, but those that are watching us, to understand that, girl, we can all wear those 5-inch heels, those red bottom heels, but how we wear them and how we walk them is okay if we do it in our own way, because collectively, when we come together, we are the baddest ass chicks on the planet, and no man wants to deal with bad chicks like this, specifically when we come together collectively. And so, hey, I'm just saying that, okay, this is how we gonna talk today. And Angela, girl, it's your turn. Tell us about you and the power that you bring and how you got into women supporting women.
Sure. So I am 6'1", and I've been this tall since I was 12 years old. And that was incredibly uncomfortable, being a 12-year-old, being that tall. But basketball found me. A coach saw me, asked me if I could play on the team. I went to play, but I wasn't very good. But it was the other girls on the team who supported me, who helped push me, that ultimately led to me playing NCAA Division I and professionally. And so basketball was really that place where I got supported. It was the place where I found my voice and where being tall was actually appreciated, and I gained power. Although I played, I'm not naturally competitive. People expected me to be competitive because I'm tall, but I'm really not. At the core of me, I'm more like watching butterflies and, squirrels running. Like, that's really the core of me. But I needed to learn how to be more aggressive and assertive, and sports gave me that. And there were so many women and coaches along the way, and male coaches as well, who really helped push me and elevated me to do more and to be more. And so basketball was that place for me where I gained a voice. So that is really my passion, helping others gain their voice as well.
I love it. So here you shared, and I know as a young lady, being tall is very challenging. My daughter is she always says she's 5'10", but I know she's 5'11". And so I know it can be very difficult as a young lady that's tall and not really feeling comfortable with all of that. And basketball gave you that sisterhood, that synergy that you needed, and allowed you to understand that you being tall was not an anomaly, but it was a gift. And I'm as y'all know, I'm a huge basketball fan, but I'm a huge sports fan. I'm the only girl in my generation of grandchildren, so yeah, I'm super competitive. But I think it's a gift, and when you are in a community with other women that not only support your gift, but help you to understand the gift that you bring, even though you may feel different and out of place, it becomes a powerful, powerful asset to doing everything in your life. Okay, so ladies, now let's move into the dialogue with regards to the power of connection. What was the first time that you felt being connected with a group of women that not only supported you, but help you to see the greatness that you have, and allowed you to stand in your greatness and shine brightly? And I'm going to go back to you, Angela. We're going to go reverse direction, because Angela, you're 6'1". My daughter is 5'11", and she always tries to say she like 5'10", but I know she's 5'11", or maybe even taller. She's taller than her daddy. When was it that you realized that your height was not a detriment or a something that should be viewed negatively? It was actually something impactful and empowering. When, not only just like when you connected with your basketball crew, but when did you begin to embrace that and understand the power that came behind accepting your gift, being tall, being beautiful, and being out there commanding your throne like you're supposed to?
I'll say I first recognized it when I started working with youth. So I've done everything from after school programs, summer programs, taking kids on college tours, running entrepreneurship programs for kids, and writing books. And so I think when you're around young people, you're forced to stand taller, and you're forced to really reflect to them what you hope for them. And so you have to be more confident, and you have to listen to kind of what they want for their lives. And so when I stopped coaching and started working with more young people, I was able to really tap into that my presence is something that is of value. So beyond the court, that is something of value and can be used to inspire others, especially young women, to pursue their goals and dreams for their lives.
Now, have you ever come across young ladies that think that because they're tall, it's not a gift, it's a curse versus a blessing? And
Definitely.
if so, how do you communicate with them that it's a gift and not a blessing?
I've
I mean,
definitely
yeah, it's a gift and a blessing, not a curse. I'm sorry.
I've definitely come across young women who want to hunch, because I did the same thing. I had lunch this weekend with a friend and his daughters, and she's 5'9" already, and she's 12, and she's sitting hunched. And I think it's important to let them know to stand up straight, and that they'll embrace that height later in life, but to start embracing it now to build that confidence, because our nonverbals speak volumes, and how we stand, how we move, our facial expressions. So you have to stand in a way that shows that you deserve to be here.
I love it. I'm going to go to you, Sher, next, because you come from, I think, a very different background than the four of us. And I know being Persian and being in the situation when, Iraq and Iran and all the chaos that was going on was very, very traumatic, particularly for young ladies, because there's a different, I don't want to say a different belief, but there's a different way of life when it comes to Persian women and Persian men. When did you realize that you being, bold, unstoppable, and standing in your greatness was a gift and not a curse, and it wasn't a disrespect to your lineage?
I will be honest with you, my friend. Well, first of all, back to Angela. May we teach all of our young women to stand up straight. Thank you so much for that lesson, and it's a good one for all of us too on those days that have been a punch in the face. I will say honestly, growing up in Iran with my mother, it was ingrained in me. And the reality is, post-immigration, I immigrated when I was 11, and there was a lot of, look, my parents gave up their home, their money, their career, their brothers, their sisters, their family, their soil, their language. They gave up everything so that I could have greater power in this world. I get in this world, I realize there's a whole other kind of power dynamic over here that I have to navigate. It's not, it's not safe as heaven over here. But the reality is I have a lot more power than I did back home, and I'm not going to waste it. And I am going to show up every single day as my best self, because I have that survivor's guilt and I have that immigrant's guilt of everything that was sacrificed for me and all the people who weren't able to gain what I've gained. And so whatever it is that's in front of me, which might be incredibly challenging, absolutely, no doubt about it. There is power dynamics everywhere in this world. Whatever it is, I've got more of a leg up than a lot of my sisters back home. And so that was ingrained in me. And that is something that I really, really grew up with. I will also tell you that I found my first real community of women outside my family when I became a mother. And I saw how fiercely women protected women when it came down to those assets, our beautiful human children. And it's been incredibly amazing, inspiring to be around and watch them apply it to their professional lives as well, the way that you do, Dr. Lawson. And I see that, unfortunately, we lost Angela. Hopefully she'll gain her back at some point.
Oh, I love it, Sher. Thank you so much, because I think out of all of us, women in America take our essence, our right to free speech, our right to be how we are, the right to wear what we want or don't wear what we want. You know what I mean? For granted. And just my experience with the ladies, those very beautiful Persian ladies that took me under their wing and fed me like I was their daughter, and educated me and taught me. And then I had a bunch of, I'm a girl that kind of always dwells with the boys, right? And so all my male Persian friends that, I was outspoken and all that kind of stuff. And they're like, "You so different." I'm like, "Yeah, but you need to have women in your life like me." Sher, you represent that. And so, those ladies that fed me and nourished me and fed into me, to help me understand that there are women around the world that don't have the opportunity, the freedom, and the things that we have in America. And it's simply because of their gender. And
Yeah.
so you being able to come here when you're 11 and being able to understand and navigate and become the woman that you are today, supporting other women, is a beautiful thing. And I think so often in America, we take things for granted because it's just given to us. I don't want to say given to it. We fight for a lot of things, particularly in this day and age, but we take a lot of things for granted because we're here in America. But when you look at women around the world, there are millions of women that don't have the freedom and the opportunity that we have. And so I just want to thank you for sharing your story and being here, because your lineage of females understood how important it was for you to come to a place where you're able to be you and be free to be you and not be how can I say, closed in
Yeah.
with regards to sharing your beliefs. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Now, Loretta, same question to you.
Sure. Well, my story is different, I would say, in that I really haven't had a support group of females. So this might speak to anyone who's listening who has not had that. I can sort of understand how it happens. So I grew up around a lot of female drama, and I think I got wired to fear female drama. And, if you grow up around male drama, then you get wired to fear that. So I had to work hard not to project my past onto people. But something else, I learned never to ask for help, because if I asked for help, my mother would get upset, not at me, if she couldn't do it. And then she would just cry. And then I'm trying to hold back my own tears and trying to comfort her. So life was just simpler if I just tried to do everything myself. So, if you ask about how do you find your own strength, is well, that was sort of forced on me at a young age and I didn't realize it. And then I saw how I benefited from it, but didn't really help me to be with a group of women who are maybe the way I would hear it is sounding like my mother, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then when I started studying animals, there's a lot of idealizing about how female animals cooperate, but they have tremendous conflict, and they only cooperate when there's an immediate reward. And so then I sort of learned to accept that that's how life worked, that people, women, men, whatever, we cooperate when there's a reward for cooperating. And it's kind of hard work, because otherwise the default is sort of a lot of conflict.
I love how you brought the whole female thing in it, in the cooperation and female supporting women. So I was a gal that I'm the only granddaughter in my generation of kids. So I grew up with a lot of male energy. There was no one like me. I was a very girly girl, but when I was a very little girl, I was very tenacious. And I knew that if the boys can do it, hell, I could do it better, right? I mean, I was a little girl. But what I came to understand is, when you think about animals and you think about females, the female animals, we are tenacious. We take care of our young. We make sure we empower not only our young, but the other females. And when you come together in that collective energy, there's nothing that us as human females can do in the animal kingdom. And so I've been looking at a lot of videos of animals. So my animal is, I'm a tiger. I'm a loner. I've always been that way. If you tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna be like, yo, watch me. I'm not gonna tell you. I just want you to watch me. And that's what tigers do. But I've been looking at these videos of the lions, right? How they nurture their young, how they're the ones that go out and hunt for the food, while the males take care of the babies. They sit back and they be beautiful. The males are beautiful, right? But the females go out and hunt and take and bring back the food for not only their babies, but for the male lions as well. And when I thought about my life, And as I was growing up as this little skinny, very skinny little girl, very tenacious, always getting in trouble and getting popped in the mouth because I was always saying stuff I shouldn't have said, or I said it. I just wasn't supposed to say it like how I said it. I realized that we're powerful. And when we own and stand in our greatness, there's nothing that we can't do. So when I started my business, I started the first woman-owned telecommunications installation company in the United States. I realized I was in an industry where there were no one like me. In order for me to understand how to operate and ebb and flow in a male-dominated industry, I didn't need to connect with male because I grew up with males. I know how they operated. I needed to connect with females because it was the females that were going to nurture me and support me like those lion moms do with their baby cubs. And so now I'm moving into our next question or our next topic of conversation when it comes to power of communication, women supporting women. What avenues, what insights, what aha moments were your greatest assets that allowed you to understand that, yeah, women can be catty for sure. We can be jealous. We can be some kind of way with each other. But when we come together and support each other from coming from our hearts and not having anything that we want to get from this sister, we just want to see her rise and shine into her greatness. What is it that today's society of not only young ladies, but older ladies, middle-aged ladies need to understand when it comes to that? We're not in competition. We're here to really support and elevate each other. And I'm going to start with you, Sher, because I think for you coming from a country at a very young age and in a whole new world, so to speak, where it's completely different how it operates in Iran. What would you say was your greatest, what was that moment in when you connected with other women that you were like, okay, I'm not in competition. And these women really, truly love and want to support me and see me stand in my greatness. What was that moment for you?
Dr. Lawson, that did not happen for me until I was well into my 40s because up until then, listen, I walked into a room and my mission was to prove to everyone in that room that I was the smartest person in that room. And that was the way I walked into that room. And you know what? And the reality is, I'm not saying that to apologize for it. I that's what I had to do. I felt like that's what I had to do anyway. But then I eventually came to a place where I realized, hey, I can walk into this room. I can leave this room smarter than I walked in by giving the people around me a chance to show me something that I don't know.
Right.
And to form that strength and that collaboration and that alliance, because you know what? Yes, I can do it, but no, I can't do it alone. I need alliances. I need a wolf pack. And at least I do. At least maybe it's just me, man, but I don't really think anybody can do it alone. I think we need our wolf packs. And so it wasn't until my 40s where honestly I had the confidence to have the humility to come into the room and take the time to listen to my fellow people and learn what they have to teach me and learn from their greatness.
You know, I love that because again, you know, the female lions, they all go out and hunt together to bring the goods home to the men, right? The males, right? And so I'm totally like, girl, Sher, we definitely need to stay connected because I see some synergy here. But when you understand that you are the badass chick, and even though you want to project that out, the women that you come into a group and you're like, yeah, I'm that bad chick and I don't need any of you. And yeah, I'm wearing my 5-inch red bottom heels and I'm commanding the catwalk like Naomi Campbell and bye bitches. You know what I'm saying? When you understand that these women really do want to pour into you and help you not only wear your 5-inch red bottoms, but they want to see you stand in your greatness, but they want you to recognize that you can stand in your greatness and you don't need to be shading anybody. It becomes so powerful. Natalie, what about you, girlfriend?
I would say going through life, and I've had a sister. I grew up with a sister who was 5 years younger than me. I didn't appreciate the sisterhood component of my life and the support of women until I was in my late 20s, early 30s. And there was with my background, I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood. We're still the only Black family in the neighborhood I live. My family is Jamaican, first generation. I'm first generation here in this country. So a lot of things that we were taught to be proud with humility, but we were taught also to be unapologetic and not necessarily ask for permission, but I guess ask for forgiveness if certain things were done. You just kind of go out and do them unapologetically. And I think sometimes culturally, my parents kind of raised my sister and I to go out, embrace, and take what it is that you want. I was very much a shy, introverted child and very self-conscious. I know, right? You're like, what are you talking about? What?
Girl, like, I got to throw the glasses off of that one.
Oh my gosh, yes. I was very self-conscious. My parents had to like send me and write me like positive affirmations all the time and remind me that that I'm kind and smart and important and all of those things. I was very, very quiet. It wasn't until later that I kind of found my voice. But when I did find my voice and when it came to my advocacy with my healthcare conditions, with my infertility and having to speak up to the doctors and going through 20 different OBGYNs and having to be heard, I had to find my voice and advocate for myself. And finding that community of women to do the same is where I think I had to find that strength, because no one was listening to me. It was like you're screaming in a room and nothing is coming out. People are just passing you by. And if you say too much, you're dramatic. If you don't say enough, then you're putting up with stuff, and trying to find that balance and then getting to that point where I'm in now, where I'm like, take it or leave it. I have been through hell and high water. Deal with it if you want to. If not, hey, I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's not my problem.
Yeah.
And still maintaining that level of humility that Sher had mentioned. But, I think stepping into that part of your life and realizing no one's coming to save you. And you have to be mindful of how you stand up for yourself, how you speak up for yourself, and understanding that when you do that, you may be presenting yourself as a voice for others that are not able to speak at that time.
You know what? I love my Jamaican people. I've been to Jamaica a few times. Some of my good friends where we were nurses together and they've gone back to Jamaica. Love Jamaican jerk chicken.
Girl.
And
Always brings her back to food, right? She always
Right?
but again, it's
coming up with cookies is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
right. It's I think for all of us, we have four different cultures here. And I think Jamaican women I find are just like Iranian women are very strong, but you all have had to go through some adversities. Now I'm not discounting what African American women in the United States or Caucasian women in the United States have gone to go through as well. But I think just knowing what I know about Iranian women and Jamaican women, it's there's just a little spice to it. Like, Jamaicans have that little bit of spice where if you touch a Jamaican sister, if you touch her wrong way, she's gonna call you out on it, right? And just like Iranian women, you ladies have a beautiful way of putting people in their place, helping women to see their greatness, and then helping women to understand the power that they have. That sometimes we American women, white, Black, Asian, whatever, that are born in America, we take for granted because we haven't had those journeys and those struggles. We have different journeys and struggles, but not like you all. And so hearing you say that, Natalie, is just like, girl, what? Yeah. But also by you and sharing the things that you are sharing, you are reaching other women and you're giving them the power and strength to stand in their greatness and understand it's okay. You don't have to apologize for being that beautiful queen that you are. You may not be fitting in that mold that your family or your society has put you in, but that's okay, because you're not meant to fit in that mold, because you're breaking the mold so that you can command it. Now, Loretta, what about you?
Sure. I have an interesting example from my daughter's life. So she's a young mother, and you guys have probably observed that parenting can be competitive in a way. Like, people are always worried about, am I a good parent? Do they think I'm a bad parent? Are they a better parent? And I've been happy to see my daughter having a little bit of self-awareness about that. Like, her first response is that judgy-wudgy fear. And then maybe she sort of catches herself doing that and notices that other people are doing that. And then is sort of seeing that, it's hard for everyone. It's an individual journey. And what matters is your joy in your own child, and don't waste your energy being competitive with other people's parenting.
So I love that. My belief is, so let me tell you, I was a secretly highly competitive girl. Remember, I'm the only girl in my generation of grandchildren. So when the boys was doing something, I was like, you know what, I can do it better, but I'm gonna do it secretly. And I'm not gonna say anything until I've done it, right? And that's been the story of my life. But what I realize is there is no competition. Women, we are women around the world. If you ain't hearing us, you're going to hear me now. There's no competition. You're not in competition with the next mom. You're not in competition with the next Iranian woman that's immigrated from Iran to the US. You're not in competition with any other Jamaican sisters. There's no competition. We all have a divine mission, and we all have a divine purpose. And our divine purposes and our divine missions are unique to us. There's no one that can fulfill our mission like we can, because it was bestowed upon us divinely, right? Once I began to embrace, now I'm gonna tell y'all, I didn't realize this until I was in my late 30s. I'm raising a son and a daughter, and I'm trying to ebb and flow with, the male and the female aspect. But what I realize is there's nobody that can do what I do, how I do it, like I do it, when I do it, like me. There may be other women that do something similar, but there's no competition. So ladies, if you're watching us, you're listening to us, I just want you to understand that if you're that bad, bold, unstoppable chick, there's no one that can do what you do like you do, even if it's in the same discipline, industry, whatever. We all have our unique essences, and the divine gifts us with these essences because we are unique, and our unique essence needs to go out to the world. We may not touch all the people, all the ladies in the world, but we're going to touch those that resonate with us, that is meant for us to touch and change their lives. And so what I want to move into now, Sher, I love you, girl. You're gonna become my best friend.
Like truth to power there, Dr. Lawson. Truth to power. Thank you so much.
I mean, we get so wrapped up in competing. We're doing the same thing. There's nobody that can do what we do like we do it, even if we're in the same business. There's no nurse that can do like I do when I worked in the emergency room. I knew I was the baddest ass chick in the emergency room, and I worked with all guys. I was the only female RN, right? No matter what hospital I worked in doing trauma, I was always the only female. But I knew that what I brought to my patients, there could be another female nurse working with me on the same shift, but what she brought to her patients was the gift that the divine wanted her to give to that patient, right? And so, ladies, we are not in competition with each other. And when we begin to realize that and come together collectively and support each other from a place of our heart and soul, we have the power to change the world, to make it a better place. Because the men have effed it up for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years. They have effed it up. But when we come together in our true greatness, we have the power to change the world, to make it a better place. But we have to understand that we're not in competition with each other. We got to come together collectively. And so, ladies, I want to ask you this question. When it comes to connecting, collaborating, and really making those heartfelt connections with other women, what is one piece of advice with what you would share with the people, the ladies, men and ladies that are watching us, that you want them to, after we're done talking, to have this message that you have to share with them resonate? So when they move forward, whether this rest of this evening or tomorrow, they come from a different perspective and a different place. Loretta, let's start with you.
Well, what I always say is like social comparison is a real physiological thing that animals do all the time. Animals are always jockeying for position in their groups, and toddlers are always jockeying for position on the playground. So it's a real complex skill to control this natural impulse. And when you work on controlling that, you get a wonderful reward. So it's worth the effort.
I love it. Natalie.
I would say when you're seeking connection, you're seeking it to be seen and to be heard, not to be fixed. And I think a lot of times we want to help, but sometimes we need to hold space, and that's in that space is where we connect. Because not everything is meant to be fixed, not everything is meant to be molded and created and adjusted to whatever the norm may be. But the beauty of just being and just sitting there and accepting yourself and accepting someone else in that space, I would say is so important. And it's okay not to be fixed sometimes. Sometimes you just need to sit and hold space. And that's where that connection is able to thrive. It's able to build and really speak to one another. And sometimes there's no words that need to be said, because that connection and that energy is there to now take it to that next level.
You know, you said something really powerful. We just need to sit and hold space for the person. And in that space becomes power, because we actually, when we're holding space for that other lady, we're empowering that lady. That lady understands that we're listening to her. We're not trying to fix her. We're not trying to give her some, we're not trying to tell her what she needs to do. We're holding space for her to be how she is, who she is, and where she is at that moment in time. And in that space, we allow her to stand up and move forward into greatness. Sher, what would you say?
I love it. I'm learning so much. My piece of advice is gonna be something I struggle with myself from time to time, and that is release of resentment. It is a useless emotion. It doesn't serve you at all. Yes, there are people who have and will hurt you. There is betrayals that will happen in your life. You will trust the wrong person. There are painful things that are going to happen to you that didn't have to if people had been more just. And the reality is, at least anger, that's something. It rouses you to action, although I'm not a big fan of that either. But resentment, it's a big waste of time. And every once in a while, I feel it in myself still. And I just think, who is this serving? This isn't serving me. It's not getting some kind of vengeance. It's certainly not improving my yoga practice, my meditation practice, my stoicism practice, my writing, it's certainly not moving me forward in any way. It's just making me feel like crap. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the lesson about what I learned from this relationship, and I'm going to release this ugly black thing that is eating away at my body and not serving me in the least. It's not easy. I fail at this all the time. It is a daily practice, though. And I promise, if you do it every day, you get better at it with age, just like wine. You just get better with age. And every day you release more, and you are able to come into yourself more.
Oh my God, ladies. This is a mic drop show, because I think in the context, first of all, I'm so blessed to have you ladies, even Angela, she had to drop off, but you four ladies were just absolutely phenomenal. You shared words of wisdom. You came from your heart and soul. I can feel it. And you didn't hold bar. It's like hold bar none, or whatever that saying is. I probably all jacked it all up. But I think as women, we need to be able to come together, accept who we are. We're all different. but collectively, in the big scheme of the puzzle, we're all those pieces of the puzzle that make this beautiful picture, this beautiful essence. And I'm with you, Sher. Resentment eats away at your heart and soul. It does not, the other person you're resenting or the other people you're resenting, they don't know you're resenting them. You killing yourself, resenting somebody, and they could care. First of all, they don't know. And second of all, they could give a damn about you resenting, right? But yet it's eating you inside. And when we learn to be able to release all that we've shared that doesn't do us good and is not collective for us to come together and be collaborators to change our lives and our businesses and our world. Um, wow. Ladies, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you. You've made my day, my night, my week, hell, for the rest of my year. I think this was a really deep, heartfelt conversation. And I believe that those that are watching us now, those that will see us, and those that will listen to us will be able to extrapolate words of wisdom that will help them move forward on their path, as I like to say, on their path to bliss. We all have things we're here to do. The divine has all given us an assignment. And when we understand there's no competition, there's no need to hold resentment, because in every lesson, there's something we learn to do better and what we learn not to do to move forward and stand in our greatness. And when we can put those pieces of the puzzle together, just think about how many beautiful women around the world that we can transform their lives. The little girls that are our future. I'm all about the little girls. We need to create legacies for our little girls coming up so that they know that anything that they want to do, they can do it. And when they come together collectively, they become that much more powerful to stand in their greatness and do what they're here to do. So I want to thank you, ladies, for your time, your grace, your beauty. And hey, I'm just gonna close it that way. I can keep going on, but I'm just gonna close it that way. I want to thank all of you for watching us, listening to us, dropping comments, and again, I like to say, if you love this show, because we keep it here real on a bold, unstoppable show. There's no right, there's no wrong. We just all support each other as ladies, embracing our words of wisdom, taking what we need to move us forward. And if we don't need something, that's okay. We don't have to take it. It's like having I'm a lipstick girl. So having like 75 different colors of lipstick, it's like, oh, I like this color today, but this one ain't going to serve me. It looks horrible on me. I don't need to wear it just because it's in my 75 75 boxes of lipstick. But it really is a beautiful thing when we ladies can understand when we come together, we are so much more powerful than when we try to do it alone. Again, thank you for being here. Subscribe to the show, share it with every woman you know and care about, because ladies, we are the change agents to make the world a better place. And as the saying goes, when we come together collectively, we can go so much farther and we can create so much more beautiful lives for our girls and our future generation of females coming up than when we try to do it alone. So get a sister, grab her. Even if you don't like her, grab her anyways, because you know what? Sister that you don't like may become your best friend. And I'm just saying, I'm just no firm spirits, but that sister you don't like may become your best friend. And together you guys can change the world to help make it a better place. This is Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, the Queen of Feeling Fabulous. And until next time, again, share this show, subscribe it with every lady you know and care about. And until next time, I'm wishing you to be bold, brave, and unstoppable. And ladies, don't be apologetic, because men want us always to be apologetic. But hell, we don't need to be apologetic anymore. This is a whole different age and a whole different game. And we are here to command our thrones so that we can make this world a better place for our future female generation. Until next time, I'm wishing you bold, unstoppability, and unapologetically being the queen that I know you are. Bye, y'all.